Hi everyone, Nate here. I'd like to welcome you to the newest installment of this limited series on my YouTube channel, where I take a look at some lightsaber hilt replicas from my personal collection. And as you can see today, we're going to be talking about the Dark Lord of the Sith himself, Darth Vader. So one of these hilts, specifically my DV6, I have already talked about in deep detail on my Return of the Jedi lightsaber video. However, I did say that once some modifications were done, it would show up in a secondary video, sort of supplemental, and that is very much what this is. And we're also going to be taking a deeper look into this Force effects, which I mentioned also in that video for a brief second. But in my initial Return of the Jedi video, this DV6 had an unpainted emitter shroud. It was the same brushed steel as what you see here, and there was no screen accurate blade plug. Both of those have been rectified, and I really want to share them with you because I'm very proud of how this turned out. Even though it was a very simple, like less than 10-minute ordeal, I'm still very happy with the final product. So this is my Parks Sabers DV6, an absolutely beautiful replica of the stunt saber as seen in Return of the Jedi. Something that I forgot to show off in the previous video that I'm going to show here is that, like most modern lightsaber replicas, this is built for install. So I do not have this particular version installed. It is still just a empty hilt. This is what you're working with in the terms of space. You also have an access point here on the very bottom of the saber, so that spins freely. I'm not going to unscrew it all the way, but you get the picture. And then that just tightens like that. And of course you can see the speaker grills. There is one activation switch, which is right here, and this set screw is static. So here is the painted emitter shroud. a tiny little piece of the original brushed steel popping through because this where this is hanging, because I usually have it hanging from this D-ring, is just slightly scraping at it. But I went with a slightly clean, slightly sloppy paint job, as this build was a bit of a rush job for production. So, you know, the emitter shroud wouldn't have been painted or spray painted perfectly. But I'm still very happy with how it came out. I used a Rust-Oleum semi-gloss on both sides. Here is the fabulous new blade plug that I received yesterday. It is from Saber Armory, and this particular hilt fits a 7/8 inch blade. So this is a 7/8 inch blade plug. This is an absolutely gorgeous replica. I'm so happy to finally have it all painted up, again with an accurate blade plug. Hello everyone, post-production Nate here. Again, I really hope this does not become a reoccurring thing with this video series, but instead of making new footage to talk about details that I missed in my initial filming, this is to talk about footage that has been lost. I don't know whether I accidentally deleted it or it got lost in the transfer, but I've looked everywhere and I cannot find it. And it is such a simple part of this video, and it's talking about the set screws on the DV6. With most lightsaber replicas, you get 1 or 2 threaded holes by the emitter to keep in your blade and or blade plug. And on the DV6, this has my favorite type. It is hidden in plain sight, and it is this knurled thumb screw which holds the shroud step in place, and it is the glass eye section. So you just unscrew one or both of these and you can remove the blade plug, put in a new blade, vice versa. I think it is just wonderful. It really does not detract from the overall look and or silhouette of the lightsaber. And as I said, it's just my favorite and preferred type of set screw. So with that, we can can get on with the rest of the video. Enjoy. Setting this DV6 to the side, we are now going to take a look at the Force Effects Elite Darth Vader lightsaber, which was released in 2022 by Hasbro. I found this in a pawn shop of all places for $70, and I am very happy with it. This is the Force Effects lightsaber that has a removable crystal chamber. Unfortunately, the crystal chamber did not come with this lightsaber. The blade did, though. And I will put up some examples of the blade function and whatnot. But as a replica, this is set in a Rogue One configuration, which in and of itself is a post-production Empire Strikes Back configuration. And if you want to make it fully 100% accurate to post-production ESB, what you'd have to do is switch out this knurled brass thumb screw for a knurled silver thumb screw, much like what you see on the DV6 here. You'd have to paint the flathead screws black and add some weathering and rust detailing to the emitter shroud, and that would give you a really nice post-production ESB. As it stands, this is a very wonderful replica nonetheless, and I am becoming more and more impressed with Hasbro's attention to smaller details. In the terms of light and sound effects, this is, Hasbro trying their best to compete with the saber market. So it has flash on clash, blaster deflect, it has saber lockup, and tip drag, which is very wonderful. Also, the LEDs within the blade give the ignition a much more smoother look, as to where with the older Hasbros, it was kind of blocky, and even with the older Master Replicas, which Hasbro took over for. I think my only real gripe about this saber sound-wise is the speaker is a little soft. So if you have this particular lightsaber going with any other lightsaber, the sound tends to get drowned out. And I noticed that when I was doing comparisons with my Kyle Katarn saber here in the background, and one of my Luke lightsabers, and even my Darksaber. I had all of those lit up, and I noticed that out of all of them, I could barely hear this one. The color of the blade, however, is very vibrant, and that is something that is, in my opinion, great for pictures or for cosplay, or if you're making a Star Wars short film with Vader. This is a very nice piece, but as a display hilt, honestly, for the price of $70, I can't complain. In case you're curious as to what the inside looks like, that's the inside of this lightsaber. This little ring here unscrews, and you take that out so you can insert the blade, or if you have it, the crystal chamber. There are batteries in here, so if you do try to ignite it, you get that defective sound. This has a nice heft to it. It's not as ridiculously heavy as the DV6, but it's got a nice weight to it. And the finish is very nice. I really love the detail on the bubble strip is very nice, because it has a slight cut off. As you can see, it's not perfectly round. It has a slightly flat edge, which is accurate to a good portion of Darth Vader's hero lightsabers, as the Exactra bubble strips did have to be cut down, as the clamps on the MPPs were not as long as they were on the Graflex lightsabers. So that's a nice attention to detail. And overall, this is just a nice piece. Whether you're a hardcore collector or a beginner, this is very nice. So a bit of a shorter video today, but these are my two Darth Vader lightsabers. I think they're a very nice representation of what a hero saber looks like compared to the most well-known stunt saber. and I'm very happy to have both of them in my collection. I never thought I'd actually have a Darth Vader lightsaber, but now that I have two, I kind of want another one. And I don't know whether I would get a proper ESB or perhaps one of the two hero A&H sabers. Probably the V2 A&H Vader. And if you want to know all of the differences, big and small, of the hero lightsabers of Darth Vader, I will leave a link in the description to one of my favorite saber collectors, Sith Slayer. He has a very wonderful, very in-depth video on all of Darth Vader's lightsabers and the various similarities and differences between each one of them from A&H to Rogue One. So that'll do it for today. I thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and remember, you don't know the power of the dark side.